Shabash, Shah Rukh. Shabash. Well done. Hey everybody. So this is my review of Fan 2016 Hindi movie. And I wanted to say ahead of time I was trying to do my review with my friend Sebastian, who watched the movie with me, if you had seen the previous two vlogs of us watching it on Friday. But our schedules didn't match very well yesterday, and today I had other work I had to do, so we couldn't do it. So I'm going to have to do the review on my own. However, we have plans of doing other things together in the future, so you will get to see more of Sebastian. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, and then when I get to the spoiler section, I will let you know that we're going to be talking about spoilers. So this first section will be spoiler-free, and when we get into spoilers, I will let you know, and then you can stop the video if you haven't seen the movie, and if you have, continue watching and comment below about it. But if you have not seen the movie, do not look at comments, because there will be spoilers in there, since we will have spoiler talk at the end of this video. I'm going to have links in the description below for the trailer for this movie, along with my teaser reaction, trailer reaction, and the two vlogs I did with Sebastian seeing this movie on Friday. I really liked this movie. So, Fan, directed by Manish Sharma. I'm trying to get all these names right. Please let me know if I'm wrong and correct me in the description below. But I'm trying to get these right. So the director was Manish Sharma. It was written by Habib Fasil. And it's starring Shah Rukh Khan as both Gaurav Chandra, and who's Junior, the young character who is the fan. He also plays the movie star, Aryan Khanna. So this is the story of an obsessed fan who looks up to Aryan, and he does look-alike contests and acts like his hero, his god. He has posters all over his wall, like his whole world is surrounded by this movie star. He knows everything about him. And he wins this major contest of being a look-alike, or being like him, acting like him, and all that stuff. He wins a trophy and like $20,000, or at least for what we saw was $20,000. We did watch a subtitled version, obviously. And he wants to go and meet his hero and give him the trophy and show him how much of a fan he is and prove to him that he's his biggest fan. Now, as he's trying to meet his god, his fan, his obsession, he has a few multiple failed attempts in trying to meet him, and he's getting more and more aggressive in each time, until eventually he snaps. And that's the psychological thriller. So the cinematography I thought was well done. It was shot clean, nothing too aggressive or trying to do something new, but they had some really good shots. The movie is more story-driven. And so when you have a strong story-driven movie, you can't do too many unusual or experimental directing or cinematography, because it distracts you. It distracts the audience and pulls you away from the actual story. And so I thought the directing and the cinematography were really good, but not because they did anything that was amazing. It was because they purposely subdued it to concentrate on the story, and they did a great job with that. Some of the action scenes, though, I thought were a little too jumbled, too many quick cuts, and a little bit out of place, but we'll talk more about those in spoilers. So there were a couple of shots that I saw that really stick out in my mind when I think back on the movie that were kind of iconic, and they are really great shots, but again, they didn't distract from the story. It was more of just a highlight of that section of the movie, which was great because it was short. So it was just enough to say, hey, I know how to shoot something in a very beautiful cinematography, but I'm not going to make it so much for the rest of this scene to distract you from what's actually going on. Now, the CGI and the makeup and everything they used to create Junior, Gaurav, the fan, was awesome. That was top notch. And it really, I want to know how they do it. I want to see a behind the scenes on how they did that. My guess is going to be that they did motion capture, with the dots all over Shah Rukh Khan's face while he was acting scenes. And they changed the size of his nose, and they changed some of his face to make it a little thinner and smoother, so he was younger. And they put it on another person's body. So it seemed like part of what they did is used what they did in the first Captain America movie, where they put Chris Evans' face on a smaller actor's body before they made him the superhero of Captain America, and he's the big guy again. And I'm wondering if they used a lot of that technology or if they were doing something else. So I'd love to see the behind the scenes on the making of the special effects on how they created Junior. That would be great. I'm really interested in that. So all in all, I would say it was an awesome movie. I loved it. If you saw my last vlog with Sebastian, we both loved it. We were the only two in the theater clapping. We were clapping at the end, and then no one else was clapping, so we stopped clapping. But I thought it was a very well-made movie. I had some issues with certain things in there, and I will get into those with spoilers. But this is going to be my first review where I give a rating. People have been asking me to do a rating system. I haven't done one before. I just said either go see it or don't. But so I decided to use out of 10. So I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. I would highly suggest seeing it in the theater if you're able to do it. I think you'd love it. But that's the end of my spoiler-free review. And now we're going to start the spoiler section. I'm going to be getting into stuff that you shouldn't know if you haven't seen this movie yet. So stop this video now. I'm giving you forewarning. Don't watch any farther. Go watch the movie, then come back and watch the second half of this. Okay, spoiler section. So the first thing that I had a problem with was there's a scene where Junior goes a little overboard, and he's already been not ousted but denied by his idol, and he pretends to become a major fan of his biggest competitor, another action star named Sid Kapoor, and gets him alone in the trailer and ends up basically not torturing him but threatening him into creating a message that he recorded on video to upload on YouTube, denouncing all of the stuff that he had said bad about Aryan before, so that in his mind he's doing a good thing, that he's making this guy take back everything he said and basically say that his movie actor that he loves was much better and everything. But of course it was done in a very bad way. He's basically threatening to cut his face up if he didn't make the video. But then right after that scene, they just cut to the next scene. And me and Sebastian were both thinking, we're like, how did he get out of that? Like, how did he get out of the trailer and get away scot-free without any security or anyone stopping him? It just seemed kind of odd that he was able to do that and then nothing happened to him. So I had a problem with that. I would have liked to have seen some kind of, even if it's very short, like 15 seconds of what he did to get out of that situation so that he was safe. A lot of the action scenes that were in the movie, if you watch my trailer reaction for the second trailer, I said that some of the action scenes seemed out of place. Like maybe some of the theories that we were throwing around were maybe Aaron was filming a sequence, an action sequence, and he interrupted the filming. Well, that's not the case in the movie. That didn't happen in the movie. All of the action scenes were true action sequences of what was happening with the characters at the time. One of the pluses I had in that is they didn't make it seem like Junior was an action star. Like he couldn't all of a sudden, he knew parkour and could do like all of this amazing stuff. They had a lot of shots in the action scenes where he seemed like he's just trying to hold on to or survive the moment of what's going on. So it's kind of like an accidental action sequence. But because both characters had to be in the same scene during some of those action scenes, and Shah Rukh Khan was playing both characters, they did a lot of shaky cam and quick cuts to handle some of that, instead of having to spend the time and the money of showing both characters in the same scene for a lot of that. And what it did is it made the action sequence seem too jumbled and a little confusing. Like you didn't know really what was going on until after, and they get to a wider shot, and then you have to fill in the blanks of what happened before. And there's a lot of American movies that film that way in general, and I can't stand it. So I had a hard time with a couple of the action sequences, but they were minor. And really the reason to see this movie is the psychological thriller aspect, the characters. That's the reason to see the movie. The action scenes really didn't even need to be there for the movie to be good. I think one of them with the motorcycle could have been cut out totally, and I wouldn't have minded at all. I do like halfway through the movie they get to a little intermission, but they didn't actually stop the movie. It just said intermission, and then 5 seconds later, at least in America, intermission, and 5 seconds later it said 1 year later. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, okay, so it's 1 year later. But it made a lot of sense in hindsight when I was thinking about it, because this is really where Junior's character turns. And this was the part of the movie I was not really expecting. So after seeing the trailers, I was expecting the drama of him becoming an obsessed fan, it boiling to a point where he becomes dangerous, and now he's a threat. And then there would be a 20-minute maybe action scene, some kind of closure, and my thought was that Junior would end up dying and then the movie's over. But that's not what they did in the movie, and that surprised me. It actually impressed me that they didn't go that route. And instead, they pulled the 1 year later, and Junior was pretending to be the movie star and ruining his reputation. So he was going to these different events as him and then acting poorly on purpose to give him a bad name in the press and basically ruin him instead of just trying to physically hurt him. And from a psychological thriller point of view, that is so much more so much more gratifying. Like, it's much better writing than just having a quick action scene to close up the storyline. Now, at the end of the movie, they did have an action scene to close the story, which I was expecting, but I was expecting it earlier in the movie, and it wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, but the whole tone of it really was just to wrap the story up, because there wasn't much farther to go, and you needed to cap it in one way. I did figure out early on that, even from the trailers, that Junior would end up dying, whether he kills himself or someone kills him, just to stop him, because his obsession is so strong, there's nothing else but death that would make him cease. So I did see that coming, and the death sequence, although dramatic, reminded me of Joker's death in Tim Burton's Batman from 1989, where he falls to the ground, and he's on the ground, and then he has the still face of a smile of satisfaction on his face as the camera comes back. The only thing they didn't have was the laughing machine going on. But it reminded me of that sequence, and it was very powerful during the Tim Burton movie, and it was pretty powerful in this one as well, just because you could see how far that character went. Like he was mentally just gone. He was gone. But all in all, I mean, the movie was great. I loved it. I had a couple of problems, but nothing too big, nothing that took me away from the movie. I still left the theater on a high note, and you could see that in my vlog that I did. Highly suggest seeing it in theaters. Shah Rukh Khan did a great job with both characters. I would like to know who the body double was for Junior, because that wasn't his body. They just interposed his face on that person, because I thought that actor did a great job of the physical acting. Even though Shah Rukh Khan did all of the facial acting and the emotional acting, the body stuff was done by the body doubles. So I would like to know who that person was, because they did a great job as well. But what did you guys think? Did you see it? Did you like it? What did you like? What did you not? What was your rating out of 10? Comment below and let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. And I will see you on the next video.